Hello, hello. I wanted to share with you guys what I've been working on. It's so much to do, like these fun show and tell videos. I'm really excited actually um, to share with you my talents and my cards. So if maybe there's a maybe you can get some inspiration from them. So I'll go kind of fast, and I wanted to share these batches of cards first because they are they're from mostly from my Brushos class that I just finished filming and am getting all caught up on. And so I'm excited to be that teacher, be that instructor for the online class from the Fine Art Cafe Academy. So anyways, this one is a Blue Night stamp, and I actually did a demo on this with the full moon in the background and how to get that atmospheric look. And I think it turned out beautiful. Anyways, and then here's another Brushos wash, and then I just put some of the Taylor's Expressions simple strips down, and I thought that turned out really neat too. Here's another one. This was I put some Brushos just on some watercolor paper, and then I put a stencil on it, let it dry, took off the stencil, and then that's how I got all this really cool design. And then again, I just did simple sentiment strips because they're fantastic to have. Here is this one was actually there's like a 3-step process. I did a Brushos wash, let that dry, and then I stamped the present stamp on. And then I used a stencil and I put clear embossing powder on it, heat set that, and then I put more Brushos on it. So that's how you can get the yellow with the blue. It turns out it's such a cool technique. It's not something that I do often, but I wanted to play with that and share that. Yeah, it's a fun one. This one was just with stencils and playing with the different stencils and atmospheric look. That was fun. This one was part of the demo on YouTube, and so was this one, and that one turned out really fun. I really like that one. Same thing here, more stencils with Brushos and watercolor paper. This one is the same as the moon one that I did. Yeah, so I got the sun, I got the moon. I like both of them for different reasons. I think they turned out beautiful. This one was a playful experiment, and I used some iridescent pigments. I can't remember if they were sprinklet or if it was Karataki's starry colors, but there's some iridescent quality to it. Anyways, it was a fun one to just paint and play with. And then my last one, this was with the stencil and Brushos, and it's just very atmospheric, very artsy. So those are the Brushos ones. Here are some watercolor cards. I have a bunch that I've been holding on to, and I haven't known really what to do, but this one is a fun tutorial. I paint a lot with books and things, and this was from the Everyday Watercolor Flower book from Gina Rainey, and she does an awesome job. This panel I did over the summer when I had begonias in a pot, and then I painted that, and then I just added the sentiment and trimmed it up a little bit. You can tell that it was probably in my sketchbook because I have little smudges, but you know what? It's a card that will go to a friend or something, and I think I'm perfectly content sending this to a friend, even though there might be some smudges over there. But some tulips. I love to paint tulips when I don't know what else to paint, so you'll see a lot of tulips and roses in my cards. Here's another tutorial from the Everyday Watercolor book that I just absolutely love. I totally recommend it. Yeah. I have been in a tree mode lately, so I have been making a lot of trees, painting trees atmospherically, in hopes to figure out how I want to paint trees more like realistic or more representational. So there's that. This one, actually, I think I had it paint. I don't know how I had it. I cut those two somehow. But anyways, I made them into 2 different cards. And I'm really happy with how they've turned out. Again, just playing with my roses and my colors and trying to decide what I like. And then I just find a good sentiment that will match. So I'm very much of a, I don't know, I feel like these cards are very romantic or very, they're just very me. I don't know. I don't know what the style is. This one was a fun sunflower that I chose to play with. Jean Haynes has a lot of good tutorials on flowers as well. And this probably came from a Jean Haynes tutorial, although I could not tell you what book because I have all 4 or 5 books from her. So, but her books are amazing and I love them. So fun card to give to somebody. Here's some bluebells. Bluebells are always all over during the springtime, and I thought I would paint that. And I like it just enough that I put a sentiment on for a card. Here is a landscape that I kind of love, but didn't absolutely love. And you can tell that I cut it in half and got 2 cards out of it. So if you like to paint landscapes, but you're not loving the landscape, you can always cut it in half or crop it, put a sentiment on, and I think it'll be a nice card to give to somebody that could use some, I don't know, encouragement. Here's some more florals that I just cannot get enough of. There's a lot of them. And then because I flip-flop between florals and trees, I have a bunch of other florals. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that the more we paint subjects that you love, the better you get. And I didn't even feel like putting a sentiment on because I really just wanted the artwork to kind of do its thing. So there are those. And then I have this one as well. And I did put a sentiment on, but it's just fun to play with your paints. I painted this one very loosely, you can kind of tell, with Moon Glow, Daniel Smith Moon Glow, and I did wet onto wet, a couple layers, and that's what I got. I got this really cool, you can see there's some blue and some purple. It's just so fun, and I feel like whenever you turn it to different lighting, you'll get different looks. So I really like that. Here's some roses. I love painting roses. Yeah, they're they're very much my style. They're very stylized. I'm okay with that because I'm still, playing, but why not put it on a card and send it to a friend, right? They don't have to be perfect to be enjoyed. Now my trees, because I am since about this fall, so I've been working on trees for about 4 months. I've been painting different styles of trees, different ways that I like to paint trees. And I didn't necessarily, my plan was not to make a painting out of it. My plan was just to experiment with different shapes, different ways I like to paint trees. And I thought instead of just keeping them, I don't know, loosely downstairs in my pile of watercolors that keeps adding up, I will cut them up and make them into cards. And then I'll just back them with like some brown or black or whatever kind of paper to make them into cards. And a lot of them were very intuitive. A lot of them were like warm-ups to get me ready to paint like a scene. And so those are what came from it. And then there's the pine trees. I've been trying to paint a good pine tree, so you might see more pine trees, but I just love this pine tree. I think it's a wonderful card. Here's a fall tree. Here's more of a spring stylized tree, which I think is so much fun. I just love that one. Again, they're all cards that I don't have any sentiments because I really don't feel like they have to have sentiments. This is another like Jean Haynes sort of technique where you layer on the watercolor and you just let the colors blend on the page. This one was a Daniel Smith Primatech color. You can tell because the pigments are very, it's sediment. It's very granular or sedimentary. I like those. And then I love this one. I love the texture right there. And it's just fun. I don't know. So you don't need stamps to make cards. And that's my goal with those is you don't have to always have stamps to make cards. Okay. These are with stamps, just stamped. So I didn't do anything. This is from Penny in Black. Penny Black. I got it a couple years ago, so it might not be available anymore. I'm not sure. This is a Blues Night stamp, and I think the unicorn might actually be on sale at their site for half off. So if you like the unicorn, you might go get it. This stamp I found at the Goodwill, so I use that once in a while. And then I got a Tailored Expressions some Pet Sympathies stamp set, and that's really fun. I thought this was perfect for a baby card, so I stamped twice. Actually, stamped a couple more and painted them, but I cannot decide which one I like better. If I like the one with the background or the no background. I don't know. I kind of like them both, so hopefully they'll go to some wonderful friends or family. And then this is with using Qor watercolor. And this is with their high chroma set, meaning that it's a very vibrant palette. Anyways, this is with Quin Rose and Quin New Gamboge, I think. And then this guy is with Cobalt, and this is the Cobalt, and this is the Ultramarine. So it turned out really pretty. I really like that one. I kind of like the bright sand with the blue. Here are some more stamped cards. I just thought I would give you kind of an idea of how my style is, and I don't know, maybe you can get some good inspiration. I love this one. I'll paint this one a couple of times a year. The Mama Bluebird with the babies. It's a perfect Mother's Day card or for a friend. It makes me smile every time I use this stamp. And this is a Blue Night stamp. This is the Blue Night stamp that I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have it. It's one of my favorites. I love painting florals, as you know, but sometimes I don't necessarily want to just paint on paper. I want to have a stamp. So I'll still take what I've learned from my floral exercises and bring them into my stamping. And so that's what I did here, and they're all different. And I'm okay with not having very many sentiments, because I don't necessarily think artwork a card has to have a sentiment on the inside. And I leave them blank, and I probably will. And then I'll write whatever I want, because maybe this needs to be a sympathy card. I don't want to be bound to a sympathy card until I need a sympathy card. Same thing here, or it could be a birthday card. I mean, it's art. It can be whatever you want it to be. Here's another pink one. I thought that was really fun for summer. Here's another one for probably summer. This is a Blue Night stamp. It's very watercolored loosely, which is what I like. Those are my favorites. And then I have this one where I use a lot of the warm tones, and the stamp set comes with this stamp and this sentiment. And I was just playing around, messing around with my watercolors, and thought, well, you know what, this could make it into a card, and I think it'll be a nice card to give to somebody from church. Here's just a simple daisy. What I did was I stamped it, used distress ink, and I just blended. I started in the center with pink, went out, and then and then the edging I just did yellow, and then I got that pretty orange color in between, and then I just added brown right there. So not a whole lot. There's the other baby stamp card. This stamp I actually found at Goodwill in like a big bag of stamps for like a couple bucks, and I bought the whole bag of stamps for just this stamp because I fell in love with it. So you never know what you can find at the Goodwill, especially something like that. Now let's go into more of the stamped, where I stamped it first and then watercolored, which is, anyways, a little bit different. But here's a Happy Mother's Day card. This was a test run. This wasn't this would not have been a final one, but I wanted to play with the purple to see what the green works. It kind of works. It wasn't my favorite, but it can still make it into a card for somebody. I think it's a nice card for a friend or for a family member. I have a couple of I call them Christian or Words of Faith sentiment stamp set from Tailored Expressions. I had this black and white and pink paper left over, and it was so graphic. And I thought, oh, I need a nice big center sentiment, and that would just make the card. So that's what I did for all of them. And I used a couple different sentiments, and I thought this would make for a nice couple Easter cards, or cards even for friends, church friends. So different ones. Oops, getting too close. So there's that. Again, oops, another Brusho card that got in. This was a Brusho with the Tailored Expressions double diamond stencil. And I just took a water pen, and instead of putting water in it, I put bleach in it. And then I put the stencil on and put bleach on it. And then this is what happened. And it's also in my YouTube tutorial on the stencils. So really fun. There's another, like I just watercolored it and then put sentiments on it with the stamp, with the background stamp, and then watercolored it. This is another background stamp called Brushed Stars. And what I love about this is that you can do so many different techniques in the background, and the stars are still bold enough that you can just make it into a birthday card or a graduation card. And I really like them for little boy cards. So I was thinking bright oranges and blues and greens for it. And this is what I came up with. So kind of fun. This is another one. This is just a simple blending technique with the stencil. I blended it with ink, with watercolor, actually liquid watercolor. And then I put the stencil on, and then I blended it with those blender brushes with liquid watercolor on my blender brush. And that's how I got the darker presence from it. So kind of fun. This is kind of the same sort of thing, but this time I used some iridescent pigment. You can kind of see it. Yeah, and that's fun. And then there's these two also. So as you can tell, I've been loving those sentiment strips, and I'm in it to like make the card and like get in and get out, right? I'm not going to spend all the little time, messing around, but I did glaze the top of these stars. So they're kind of iridescent. You can see the iridescent quality. Isn't that cool? But so it makes for a fun birthday card, something like, you're thinking of me, thank you. It was fun to make. So anyways, those were all my cards. I can't believe I went through it so fast. But if you have any questions on any of them, feel free to, leave a comment below. If you had a favorite stamp in this, I'd love to see them. Or if you liked look at all these. I mean, these are all just watercolor practices that I've been working on. And, Angela Fair and Jean Haynes and Gina Rainey, they all say, you got to be able to just take some time for your art and paint the way you want to paint, because how else are you going to find your style? And I tell you what, after 6 months of keeping some paintings, I didn't put all of my paintings into cards, but a lot of them, I'm totally seeing a style now. And how fun is that? So I'm so excited to share. Hopefully this helps somebody, and yeah, have fun painting. And you never know what will come up, especially the new students, just keep playing with it and seeing what happens. And then you'll get all these beautiful cards that you won't know what to do with, but they're so fun to make. So anyways, enjoy the creative process, and we'll talk to you soon.